progress that government has made in terms of the fight against illegal mining, among others. To present today's briefing is the Honorable George Mrekuduka, who is a Member of Parliament for Takwanso Ayem constituency. Before I yield the podium to the Honorable Deputy Minister, permit me to acknowledge some dignitaries who have joined us this morning. We have Mr. Peter Ewua. He is the Technical Director in charge of mines. We also have Mr. Benjamin Ayi. He is the advisor to the Minister on Mines. We have Mr. Martin Ayisi, the CEO for Minerals Commission. And we have the Deputy Minister in charge of Forestry, Honorable Benito Owusubio. And of course, my boss is with us this morning, the Honorable Minister for Information and Member of Parliament for Ofuasia-Irebi constituency. So thank you for attending today's briefing upon invitation. I will now yield to the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources to proceed with the presentation.
The Honorable Minister for Information and the MP for Ofuasia-Irebi, the indefatigable Minister, Kojo Opong Nkrumah, Honorable. The Deputy Minister responsible for Lands and Forestry at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Benito Owusubio, an MP for Achuma and Wabieja North. The Honorable Deputy Minister for Information, the Honorable Fatima Abubakar, my Chief Executive of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Ayisi, Technical Directors from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the security apparatus here present, the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This morning, I'm acting on behalf of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo. He's asked me to act in his stead and extends his regards to you. And we are here to give you updates on the fight against galamsey. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Security Council and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources tasked the Ghana Army to clear all illegal miners within the western region on Ankobra and its tributaries. Southern Command was tasked to conduct follow-on preparations to clear recalcitrant illegal miners within the western region. The aim of the operation was to halt the return of illegal miners on major river bodies and its tributaries, and to maintain the momentum of the Ghana Armed Forces in the fight against these threats. The follow-on operation focused on River Ankobra and its tributaries in the western region. The operation was conducted from Saturday 4th to Monday 6th December 2021. Outcome of the operation. During the period of the operation, a total of 265 assorted illegal mining items, which were found within the red zone of 100 meters astride River Ankobra and its tributaries, were destroyed. A total of 26 suspects were arrested, and one motorbike with 22 mobile phones for illegal mining were handed over to civil police of the district police stations at Pristia and Wassa Ekropon. And ladies and gentlemen, a summary of the items will be made available for your perusal after this presentation. And let me commend the military for the work done so far as Operation Halt 2 is concerned, more especially the commander of the Southern Belt. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say that we're going to go through an outline that will also spearhead some initiatives of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and that will be displayed accordingly for your information. The Operation Halt 2 activities, they have so far decommissioned a number of equipment, as I've told you, including the infamous chamfines, water pumps, and excavators as well. And we're going to also launch 4 phases kind of approach where the operation will be targeted at the following water bodies. Phase 1, the Pra River along the western and central regions, which they have started. Phase 2 will be on the Oda River and River Ofin in the Ashanti and central regions. Phase 3, the River Ayensu and Brim in the eastern region. And Phase 4, the Ankobra River and its tributaries in the western enclave. Ladies and gentlemen, we observed that there were some kind of improvement in the water bodies as far as turbidity level is concerned. And unfortunately, this recalcitrant bounced back to operate in our reserved rivers. The illegal miners have, however, resorted to operating at night to elude the Operation Halt 2 activities. The Army is therefore reviewing its strategies in this respect, and I may not be able to put their modus operandi on air, but I'm reassuring those who are determined to destroy our heritage that we will come after you. And I'm using this medium to sound stern warning to this recalcitrant to refrain from mining in our river bodies. And you can see some of the pictures on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. And we will go on to fight this battle, not by the ministry and the defense ministry alone, but with your support. So we're asking the media to assist us in getting rid of this recalcitrant people who are determined to destroy the future of this country. If care is not taken, we may import water going forward and wouldn't sit down for this to happen to us. And it is important for us to take this very, very serious as far as the operations of Operation Halt 2 is concerned. And let me say that the battle of the galamsey canker is not only to see to the removal of this illegal miners from the river bodies, but also to create a platform and initiatives to contain those who will be moved out of the river bodies. For that matter, we've initiated and continuing creating community mining schemes to hold on to those who will be moved out of the river bodies, those who will be moved out of the illegal structure to be cushioned with these community mining schemes that we are working on. And I can tell you that with the community mining schemes, so far, it is intended to provide livelihood for members in the mining communities, promote sustainable and responsible mining, and thereby preventing illegal mining. And the legal framework for community mining schemes is as provided for the small-scale mining under sections 81 to 99 of Act 703 and the tributary system in accordance with regulations 493 to 506 of the Minerals and Mining Regulations, LI 2182. Ladies and gentlemen, as we establish the community mining scheme and the small scale, also regularizing the small scale mining sector, we have developed small scale mining community operational manual for small scale miners and that of community mining schemes to comply with. And this we've already commissioned and it is out there. Copies would be made available for media outlets that are here for you to peruse. And before a community concession is commissioned, would want to see an administration block, would want to see kind of a clinic, would also want to see a changing room for the workers, at least. And this, we're not making it cumbersome for the concessionaires. We're just asking that you could have fabricated containers, well painted and well positioned for them to be accepted. And before the minister comes to commission it, you would want to see that you have at least a first aid center, let me put it that way, established. You have your changing room, and these are there for your perusal. So copies of this will be given to you for you to educate Ghanaians on. So we have an operational manual for small-scale miners and community mining schemes. And we're going around, we'll continue to educate Ghanaians as to how best we can create an enabling environment and serene environment for the mining architecture. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you this morning, a total of 6 community mining schemes have been launched in the following communities: Mba Mpehia, Kwabre, Nuba, and Takwa in the western region, Edukrom and Jakobu in the Ashanti region, and Achim Abim in the eastern region. The 5 schemes are expected to generate 21,000 direct jobs and 10,000 indirect jobs. And Takwa alone, I can tell you the concession we recently commissioned is receiving not less than 5,000 workers. And we have observed, and before we commissioned this manual, we realized that the influx of foreign nationals in our small-scale enclave is as a result of the capital-intensive nature of the mining, especially the small-scale mining. So people or Ghanaians get to contact these foreign nationals to support them financially. And that is eating into the mining fiber of this country. And you know that the Minerals and Mining Act also abhors a foreign national getting involved in small-scale mining. And that we must also fight against that. And as a result, we've negotiated with one of our prominent banks in this country, ADB for that matter, to commission a minerals development unit that will seek to address the challenges in terms of the physical challenges that the small-scale miners face. And we believe that will bridge that gap and move away with the invasion of foreign nationals in the small-scale mining sector. And on the 20th of this month, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana will unveil that unit, the Minerals Development Unit. Going forward, we intend to establish the Minerals Development Bank that will address specifically the needs of miners, as ADB has been addressing the needs of farmers. And that will also, in a way, augment the hope and the strength of these miners. And we're doing this out of lack of credit facilities for these small-scale miners. And as part of effort to ensure the small-scale mining sector, we will create these credit facilities for the operations and also facilitate the establishment of giving them earth-moving machines through ADB. And you know, we are already assisting this small-scale miners through Minerals Commission. But Minerals Commission has to maintain its pedigree of being a regulator instead of marketing in the sector. So we want to kind of relay that responsibility to ADB to assist our miners. And as part of our commitment to retool the small-scale mining sector, we have been supporting miners. I mean, if I say miners, I mean the small-scale enclave, with what you call the green mining machine. And it's a mining processing machines. And this is as part of our commitment to the Minamata Convention, which this country is a signatory to. And the Minamata Convention, as you know, is to commit to the minimizing the use of mercury. And we want to really reduce the destruction of mercury on our environment, especially in our river bodies and so on. So we have introduced this mercury-free machine that could extract gold without the use of mercury. And we've tested it, and it's really working. And with that, we believe introducing this mercury-free machine will go a long way in supporting the sector. And let me give just a minute for this video to roll, and you're listening to the wonders that machine is doing as we commissioned one of the community mining schemes in one of the regions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not getting the sound, of which is very important to me, and this our guest's house, I will go on. If the sound is back, we could come back to listen to. Yes, it's now on. So
yeah, Yagina Park is a who goat. Yagina Park is a to who goat for Fafa. Yes, so Balibakumpo. Yes, Yamata, Yaman, Bibia, Collect, Yamisha, Obia, Kufado. We are good at it. Yanyawa, Akagana say.
So you saw how the gold was extracted without the use of mercury. And thus, they used only a bucket of water to extract the gold you saw. And this is to sanitize the SSM subsector, protect the environment and water bodies. And this machine has already been commissioned by the indefatigable Minister, Honorable Samuel Abu-Jinapo, just recently. So we're working tirelessly to ensure that we regularize the small-scale mining sector. And as we continue to do that, we not only concentrating on this, we also tracking, and we intend, and that will be rolled out in January. Visibility studies have been completed. We now getting to engage contractors to do that, and we're tracking all earth-moving machine in the mining sector. And this is for the mining sector. It's for the large scale, it's for the small scale, it's for the community mining, medium scale, and every mining concession. And this, we're going to do that, and we doing this with the support or in line with the Minerals and Mining Regulations 2020 LI 2404. And with the tracking, we would put, a technology where you would have your excavator tracked. If the excavator is moved out of the confines of the concession, the excavator will be deactivated. You wouldn't be able to operate it unless a call is placed to Minerals Commission for them to ask you questions why you pushed or you moved the excavator out of the confines of that concession. If the answer is positive, they may, activate it for the excavator to go back to work within that concession. And that is also to check where people move excavators to river course to mine. And thus, they divert the river course, make the land bare, and put the machines on. This, we believe, going forward, if this technology is rolled out, may also control the illegalities in the system. And we have just a dummy to show. So the excavator has moved out of the concession. Now it is deactivated. It can't move anymore. A call will be placed to Minerals Commission. Mineral Commission then will respond, and that will be done by a situational room that will be created. So if they are satisfied, then they can activate it for it to go back to the concession. And that is, for us to control the illegalities in the system. We also trying to also do what we call the practical license verification. Sometimes some of our workers from the Inspector Division of the Minerals Commission get to concessions, and mostly they are harassed or prevented from entering the concessions. And out of that, we've created a platform where they may not be in a way harassed anymore. And the harassment come out of where they would want to inspect the license of that concession. And these licenses are displayed in the offices of these concessionaires. And sometimes they either lock the office and bolt, or even get security to prevent you from entering the office. So in view of that, what we've done is to also have create a signpost. Out of the signposts, a QR code is generated as it's being shown to you, and that QR code, a scan is put on the QR code. The details of that concession will be displayed, and you know that it is a legal concession or not. So there wouldn't be any need of you, wanting to enter the offices of that concession. So you must display this at the entrance of your concession. And with this, I would call of any of you, just bring your phone. You scan. This one works now as I speak with you. You can just come and scan the QR, and you have the details of that Medase Mining Ghana and some other concessions that you have. So there wouldn't be any need of running around asking questions. If this is not erected in front of your concession, obviously you'll be having some questions to answer. So we are practicalizing the system. We are not making it difficult for you at all. And the media, you can get to any concession. There's no need asking or calling anybody. You just scan with your QR facilitated phone. And this is not difficult. All the phones can access this. And this time around, you go for functions or attend functions, and they don't even display programs. So QR, you just scan, you have your programs well outlined for you. So that is what we doing, and we know we're meeting all small-scale miners, large-scale miners, that there's a policy that they need to follow. So the gentleman is scanning. Just to try it here, you heard the beep, and it will straight away take him to the portal. So I believe you've seen something. It's rolling. So read it out to them. So he has yes. So you have all the details of the concessions. So this is a practical example for you to. So thank you very much, Mr. Ewua, the technical director at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, for the assistance. And apart from that, As part of our, regulations and also commitment to meet international standards, especially with the LBMA certification and so on, we also committed to traceability of our gold. The gold that we produce, before it is exported, we need to know where you got the gold from. It is also important to us. And as a ministry and through the leadership of the affable minister, we've also created a platform where each and every gold that is produced will be traced. And Ghana is also part of the Kimberley process. And Kimberley process, seeks to trace where diamonds are produced, or the source of our diamonds, especially in Africa. And as part of our gold, production, we also committing to traceability of our gold. And that will be the first country in the sub-Saharan Africa to be doing this. And what do I mean by traceability? I mean, if a gold is produced, the nuggets, a buyer buys it. So when I produce my gold, and for example, I put it in this box and intend selling it out, I need to put a seal on this. This seal will have a chip, so it is also tracked. Then the serial number is recorded. When you buy it, obviously you know the quantum, because this will be in a nugget form. You need to smelt it. So I will open it. You need to record. Then after smelting, you also put your seal on. Then you also record the serial number before it is sent to PMMC. Then PMMC will also inspect it and also put a seal that has a chip, and it is then exported. When it is sent out of the country, whoever receives it would need also to take the serial numbers of the seal and reconcile with PMMC here in Ghana. And this, we believe, will also go a long way in reducing the smuggling of gold in our country. So each and every gold, we have to know the concession that you got it from. We need to know where you had it from and where you exported it to. And this is how we, making it very practical for the operations of the small-scale mining sector. Now, let me end by giving you the way forward of the ministry, and is to also, apart from the fight of the military assisting us, would also permanently recruit and train river guards to police areas designated as red zones, and that they will be permanently be patrolling the riverbanks of this country. We also collaborating with the military and the University of Mines and Technology to have a river treatment technology where we could dredge and treat the river bodies to get clean, and also control the turbidity of the river bodies. We also purchasing speedboats to patrol the river bodies. Obviously, launch more community mining schemes to address the unemployment situation we have in the country. And we will be also commissioning or inaugurating district mining committees in the mining districts. each and every district is going to have a mining committee that will be supervising the operations of the community mining in their respective districts. And that will also conform to Act 703 to strengthen enforcement of mining regulations at the grassroots. So at this point, I'll thank you for the audience and open up for further discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable George Mrekuduka, for the insightful presentation. Please, I would like to acknowledge some other dignitaries who have joined us in course of the program. We have the Joint Task Force Commander of Operation Hall 2, Brigadier General Amwa Aisi, with us this morning. And of course, we have the Deputy Minister in charge of Forestry and Member of Parliament for Achima Nwabieja North Constituency, Honorable Benito, who will be with us this morning. So please, for the benefit of the non-account speaking stations, permit me to summarize in three the presentation done by the Honorable Minister in about a minute or two, and then we will come and take your questions. Etiefo ne ahwefo mechiamu nyina napai eye oswafo abedi echi ensem a odi free asoye a ohwe efomagudie so ene se eye amanebo a efa eye operation hall to jumadi omo hwese omo a omo mfa kwan paso into efomagudie a omo se nsuo ne nsase ahodo ni nyina wotu onso sa ama nyame adaroma se ye ka sei emfidi a omode tu sa esika kokko no emu 265 de wasei no na afi nso so eye suspect 26 ena wachi omo a ode ombefa amrakwan so ebio ose ebi mu ho enam so omunim sa aban tu anamo bebre ahwe hu se adwuma na sentire se anajo ena omudi onjuma na eno nso so asoye no eya awe so omutu sa efomagudi anase sika kokko anajo enti omone asrafo aka omontuma abomu a ombehwe hu se omo omudi sa adwuma ne nyina ese nsuo ne nsase nyina obetu onso sana asa enti omo sre ye media fo anase nsentrofo a omahye aha ne omo the various studios semestre ma se monko omomwa na sa na mo na aban tu ne no nso so ebewie peye ebio community mining hyehye ya aban de aba se omo mutu iska kokko a wonfa kwan paso na mom onya kwan pa anko befa so atu no nkronkro ahodo so tu anamo ehu se obesi bia ye ebeboa amafa omadwuma mom nso metimi atu iska kokko ni bi enti se ye kasei omo so ofa ga na afa na bebia titiru ne mampehia kwabre no ba takwa adukrom jakobu ena achim aban mu a omo ahyehyɛ adwuma wɔ saabia nyina omo fa nipa se ekasai nipa 21,000 ebenya direct jobs ena nipa 10,000 ebenya indirect jobs ebio obefa kwampa so nso no ama omo ntete se ebeya afomagudie na otu no onfa mercury ene nuboni bi mfa nsensa ase ne nsuo na obefa kwampa so de atu na afi nso so se dwetire anase sika kakra ode beboa won ama omo atimi de afa kwampa so aye adwuma no eno nso so otu ho anamon ebio nso so ne se sesei asoye na ebeye nhyehyeye a emfidi a odi tu fomagudie ni nyina obetrake na se bebi a edi ama on se saabia na ese otu fomagudie na ofiri ho de ko bebi foforo na de ko se nsu ana sensa asenso a obetimi ehu akira kwan na odo afa mra kwan so na afi nso se aban na ana se commission no ema o asase setu ehonom agudi a obema o sign ya se uhu demonstration omoye wa hasesie ya udi besi ho a omofa abefo kwan so etimi askane ubetimi the mobile phone ana se machine omode scan QR code ni bi afa abefo kwan so askane no hu se eye no krese aban na am akwanya se to form agudi ana se wa na wafa ope na ode fa aban no ana se o manager ajapade na ebi onso so Eya asoye na ye nhyehyeye se ebe ya sika kokko no efiri bebi ebetu no ene se ebeduru ama no ne nyina obefa abekofo kwan so na abanyani bedi akire na yetimi ehu sika kokko anase fom agudie na yetu ogana ha eho nkontabu na eso mfaso aba amaga na man nyina na yedi hu mfaso enti eno ne anamo bebre asoye ne itu na honorable deputy minister de bedan ya na pay. And on that note, if you have any question for the Honorable Deputy Minister or the Minerals Commission or the dignitaries who have joined us this morning, kindly raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. We'll take the first set of questions, about 5 questions, and then go for the Honorable Deputy Minister's responses. And then we'll come back to you for follow-up questions, if any. So please, if you have a question, kindly show by hand. The microphone is at the back. It will be brought to you. We'll take the first question from the right. Your name, media house, and then proceed to ask the question, please.
Good morning. My name is Nia Ikuyoka. I'm from City FM and City TV. My first question is that the minister made mention to us that a total of 26 persons were arrested in the Western region for their engagement in the illegal mining activities. We want to know what has become of them. And then secondly, with the community mining scheme, how are we ensuring that we do not have people who may take advantage of it to also destroy our water bodies, as we've witnessed before in previous years? And then thirdly, I would also want to know that what is government doing in terms of plans to ensure that this particular galamsey issue is actually dealt with or nipped to the bud in totality? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. So we'll take the second and then the third.
Okay. My name is Agnes. I report for the Chronicle. So the minister made mention of the fact that small-scale miners are required to have changing rooms, clinics, and all that before they will be allowed to operate. So I want to find out those who are already established and don't have these things, what is going to be done to them?
Thank you. My name is Ataminsa from Ghana News Agency. I want the Deputy Minister to educate me on the administrative structure of the community mining schemes. How are people recruited? What are their qualifications? So that we get people who are expert in mining to handle those schemes to function appropriately. So if you can educate me on the administrative structure of those schemes. Then, as you rightly said, before those community mining schemes become operational, they need to establish clinics, changing rooms, fabrication centers, first aid. How are they going to fund it, those facilities? Because they have not started yet. How are they going to mobilize resources to start all those things before they become operational? Thank you.
Thank you. We can take 2 more questions, if any. If not, we'll go to the Honorable Deputy Minister for his responses. Any question, please? Okay, so we'll now go to the Honorable Deputy Minister for his response.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. The first question is the update on the 26 persons that were arrested. The military accordingly handed them over to the police, and the law is taking its own course. So the law is dealing with them, and we'll deal with them accordingly. And we went ahead to ask the measures to ensure compliance. Yes, we'll be doing regular visits. That is why we're retooling the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission to be visiting these concessions to ensure that they comply to all the regulations. And let me reiterate that we have officers, district officers of the Minerals Commission in all the mining districts, and that we have officers that are duly trained to be taking that task. So they are monitoring and making sure that they comply to the norms. And you also asked, how are we fighting the illegalities generally? Let me say that the fight against galamsey is not an event. You know, South Africa has also been fighting this menace. They call it Zama Zama all these years. And mining countries have been fighting illegalities in their system all these years. So it is not going to be an event. It's a process that will need your effort, will need your assistance to progress in this direction. And we'll make sure we go ahead also to deepen our laws to assist us in fighting this canker. The second questioner also asks those who are not applying the technology as at now, what we are doing to them. Yes, it's now being introduced. So we are arranging fora to, sell out the idea to them. So it's kind of a process that we're starting. With the traceability, they are not doing it as of now. With the tracking, it is also not done as of now. But from January, we're rolling out all these policies. Then the third one also asks of the administrative structure of the mining scheme. So we have the district mining committees. And the district mining committee of a district will see to the management of each community mining scheme. And within that, they will put in place other ad hoc committees that may assist them in their operations. And you went ahead also to ask of funding. That is why I made it clear that this is not to complicate the matter. And we have allowed you or members to use fabricated containers. And I must tell you that within their communities, they put themselves together and they are able to get one or two people to sponsor them. And they call them sponsors. And that they also use the mechanism of getting their capital back during production of gold. So there are some arrangements that they do with some of these communities. And let me put it out there that we'll be, by next week, we're commissioning one community mining concession at Tepa. So we'll be at Tepa. And for example, through the instrumentality and the leadership of the MP and that of the district chief executive, they've been able to mobilize the community to, weed off those who are doing the illegalities to come to the center. And they have gotten a concession through the support of the Minerals Commission, which we likely to commission next week. They've been able to comply with all the points in the operational manual, and that they've also gotten the funding for that. So we commissioned some community mining concessions earlier, that is before our tenure, and that we couldn't comply with these technicalities. And we've asked them that before we regularize their licenses, they need to make sure they have all this in place. And before, and as media, persons, anywhere you visit, you make sure you also assess them through this medium. So they must have all their administration kind of points. They must have the health center or health posts. They must also have their changing room. And what we are also doing is to add minerals engineers, mining engineers, geologists to these concessions. And we have lots of them at home now from University of Mines and Technology. So we recruiting each and every community mining concession has to have a geologist, mining engineer, and minerals engineer. So we creating, employment through the value chain. So that is what we are technically doing to assist the mining sector. We want to reinforce the small-scale mining sector because we believe that is where we can build local champions within the industry in the country. Thank you very much.
Please, we'll take the last set of questions. So we'll take 1 and 2. If you have any question, kindly show by hand, and then we'll take a follow-up question. Okay.
Yes. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister.
Good afternoon.
You know that these miners, especially the illegal ones, you said they are very recalcitrant. Now, for instance, if you have a tracking device and somebody brings an excavator which has not been registered by the Minerals Commission or whatever, can that also be roped in? And people can also destabilize the tracking system to outwit the Minerals Commission or the authorities. In such cases, what are you going to do? My second question, the MMDCs, whose jurisdictions where the mining takes place, what are you going to, because if, let's say, I'm at Amanfi West, and the river Ankobra is there, and people are mining on the river, what responsibility has the MDC or whatever it is has to ensure that that doesn't take place? Because without their cooperation and their active involvement, I don't know what the government can do, as it were, to bring the situation under control. Because I don't know why you don't tax them, as it were, to get involved, so that also make sure that in their jurisdiction, something of the sort doesn't happen there, so that the whole fight can be won. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll take the second question from the back.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Oko Moses. Honorable, the gold extracting machines, where do they come from? And is there scope to produce them locally? That is, if they are not. And in these mining sites, where will they source water? Because we all know the mines need water. Are they going to use these same rivers that we are trying to protect? And also, gather in your update, you didn't tell us how the land reclamation has been going. At least if there were a picture or two to show then and now, it could help. We didn't get that. And then finally, government halved the 3% levy on gold exports, a levy that triggered a lot of perceived gold smuggling from Ghana into other countries. The budget reduced that by half. Is that enough to curb the smuggling of gold, especially by small-scale mines, into the sub-region? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take the third question. I saw a hand here, so we'll take that and then go to Honorable Deputy Minister.
Yeah, thank you. During the Deputy Minister presentation, he made mention of river treatment technology. I want him to emphasize on that or explain further, because early this year we went to University of Mines and Technology, and the Vice Chancellor made mention of a technology that I've developed. I don't know whether it's the same thing or different from that. If you can give update on that.
Okay, thank you. Is that the last question? Okay, then that will be it. So we'll go to Naval.
Yes, the first one, the unlicensed excavators, those that wouldn't go through the formal sector. Yes, we are retooling the inspector division. We'll be monitoring all the excavators in the system. So when the security apparatus is around, they will check first of all whether that machine is tracked, and if it is not, you would also be dealt with accordingly. And that is also another measure of making sure we weed out those who are coming or bringing in excavators without the use of the formal sector. And how our leaders, especially at the district level, also making sure that they assist in the fight against the galamsey or ensuring compliance. Yes, the district chief executive chairs the district security council, and that obviously is also the head of that mining committee. And if there is anything, it is the chief executive that will blame. So we've tasked them to monitor, make sure they have systems in place to check all these measures. So they are leading the charge. And Minister put it before Ghanaians here on this platform that is decentralized the system. So where previously the military could move from Accra, get to the respective district, these days the military gets to the region, the RESEC is informed, gets to the district, DISEC is also informed, and even when they move out, DISEC maintains its responsibility to ensuring compliance. So we have decentralized the system as much as possible to ensure that we regulate the sector. Where are these machines from? We've engaged a Ghanaian who came and did presentation on this. We asked the technical officers to assess and from Minerals Commission, and they came up with a report that yes, we could use the machines. It is competent enough to withstand pressure, and also the requirements that they need in the system, they meet those requirements. So it's a Ghanaian who, through partnership, has developed this technology that we're working on. Obviously, technology transfer will be important, and going forward, we may have them assembled here in Ghana. We'll be proud to do that, and that is what we're working towards. The reclamation, very soon the minister will come up and meet the media to give you the whole, mining sector, what we've done so far and the way forward generally. And that will include GISDEC, GEADEC, MDF, PMMC, and all these sectors, the lands, the forestry. Today's event is to address the small-scale mining sector. And so the reclamation is very important, but the minister will address the nation accordingly on that. And that, I can assure you, after the launch, we're still working tirelessly to ensure its implementation. And it is out of that we had the Takwa community mining launched, and that is functioning seriously. On the 3% withholding tax, is it enough after the reduction of 1.5? Each and every buyer or exporter would want tax-free. That is the nature of human beings. Even if it's biblical, paying tax is very difficult for us. And as of now, and per the numbers that we've done, we believe the 1.5 we can work with. And going forward, we'll practicalize it and ensure if there's the need for us to further, reduce it, it's a listening government. We have a listening president who in all decide together and reduce it accordingly. But as I think it's competitive enough to have the 1.5 now on, and that would, in a way, reduce the smuggling in the sector. River treatment technology. Yes, we've engaged Professor Mankwa. He is now piloting the technology. He's told me he's doing that on River Bonsa, and he will get the feedback. So we're waiting. He's done the proposal. He's presented his proposal. Other people have also presented their proposals. So we're comparing and making sure we pick the best out of the proposals. But he's the one we've contacted. So if you've dealt with him, that is right, and it is true that he's working on that. So the ministry is ready to collaborate with whoever is ready to support us. Our doors are open. We're fighting this dispassionately. Want to move out of political, coloration as far as the fight of galamsey is concerned. All hands must be on deck, and this must be a warning to those who are still mining in the red zones, especially in our river bodies. Please move out of our river bodies. It is important to us, and the military and the ministry will not relent. We'll make sure we come after you. Thank you very much for... This, I told you that they extracted gold without even use of a bucket full of water. So the use of water is very minimal. And we are encouraging people also to create ponds at the respective mine sites. So that is what we are encouraging. And you don't also leach into river bodies. So these are things that we check around the mining sector. So you create your own pond. The water that you use, you must make sure it is not contaminated and it is also contained so that they don't get into our river bodies. And that is why we have the buffer and the military. So sometimes the military gets to a concession and they say we are not on the riverbed. We are out of the river. But forgetting that we've given a buffer of 100 meters. Sometimes people also do even go about 300 meters out of the river, but lay pipes beneath and then wash into the river body. So when the military detects that and gets your machine decommissioned, they come and wail. And that is also not permissible. You need to we want to protect our river bodies, going forward. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I'll thank you once again for attending today's press briefing upon invitation. Good morning and have a great day.